person is leading blind people, what do you think will be the end? I'm sure we all know the answer, right? Sure. So we'll just that is the worldly definition of who a leader is. But right after the lesson, we all appreciate the fact that the leader sees leaders to be. So there are people who always want to command respect. Like when he's coming, everybody know that, yeah, this person is a leader among the group. That is not the actual definition of who a leader is. The next one is that a leader is not someone who seeks personal glory. Everything that a person is doing wants people to praise him, wants people to say yes. This was so intelligent. That is not who a leader is when it comes to the biblical definition of who a leader is. So let's take it. And then the last one, which it is among us, and even the world prioritizes so much, is that a leader is not the world's perfect person. So the world is having a definition for who a leader is. The world sees a leader as someone who is so handsome, someone who is tall, someone like all the things you can imagine. That is the actual definition of the perfect leader that the world is having. So a leader is not necessarily the most handsome person among the brethren. It's not the tallest and all the things that you can imagine of. That is someone to replace Saul. And then when Samuel went to the house of Jesse, for him, he was just looking at the parents. He was just looking at the height of the sons of Jesse. But that wasn't the idea. That wasn't the actual intention of who a leader was. So let's read something from 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses number 7.
But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Amen.
The idea of God is not about your physical appearance. So maybe we will be electing leaders very soon, and then maybe you are thinking of your structure. I'm so strong, so I look at my form, I can serve at the organizing aspect. I can join the organizing board. That is not the concept of who a leader actually is. It might actually help the job, but that shouldn't be the actual vocal point of you becoming a leader, because that is not something that God prioritizes. And a leader is not going to get all the things that in the world you find. So someone who is so equal, that is how the world sees it. Right? So if someone is vying for a position, SRC or president, when they come to the classrooms, you see how they speak, right? Craft some messages, some quotes and all that. And if you hear them, you see that actually this guy is brilliant. That is not what God is actually looking in a person that he wants to lead his church. So when we take an illustration from Moses' life, if you are thinking of eloquence, Moses wasn't part. Because Moses himself confessed to God in Exodus chapter 4, verses number 10. When God was having that conversation with him, that you want to use him, Moses told God, no, God, I can't do this because I am slow to speak. And according to research, it has been proven, and which is not so biblical, but it is what the scholars are thinking of, that Moses was a stammer. He wasn't someone who was so much fluent. He is actually speaking. So, that is what some of the scholars were presuming that Moses was. So let's read Exodus chapter 4, verse number 10.
Then Moses said to the Lord,
Moses said to the Lord,
O my Lord, I am not eloquent.
I am not eloquent.
Neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and slow of tongue.
So that was an excuse that Moses was trying to use to ignore the role that God wanted to use him for. But God told him, I am not part of the vital things that I'm looking in a person whom I want him. Although it is important, but when we are talking about the vital things, and we will come there, the three important things that God is expecting in a leader, we will come there. We have talked about David. David wasn't the oldest person. David wasn't the oldest person in his family, but yet God used him. Jeremiah 2 is a typical example. The works that Jeremiah did. When God was about to call Jeremiah, Jeremiah 2 was trying to bring out excuses that God, as for this work, I can't do. Like, I'm going to lead the people of Israel, and I'm young, I can't. So Jeremiah chapter 1, verses number 6 to verse 8. Jeremiah tried his possible best to use some words to convince God, but still, God told him that I still want to use you for this particular work. Let's read Jeremiah chapter 1, verses number 6 to 8.
Then said I, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a youth.
Jeremiah 2 is also bringing another excuse. I cannot speak because I am a youth. He's trying to convince God. God wants to use Jeremiah, but Jeremiah is trying to bring out an excuse that he cannot lead because he's young. Maybe probably you are in first year, but when we talk about the qualities, the characteristics of a good leader, if you see yourself in this particular lane, then it means that you can lead. It doesn't matter whether you are in first year, whether you are in second year, whether you are in third year. You are still supposed to go forward when the church nominates you to lead the people of God. Because it doesn't matter the year you joined, that I'm in first year, so I can't. Let's take note of that. So when we go to the animal kingdom, we all know that the lion, as he is claiming to be the king, you will see him all over the place. But when we are talking about the smartest animal in the kingdom, the lion is not part. When we are talking about the fastest animal in the kingdom, the lion is not the one. When we are talking about the longest, the tallest, like all the things that you can talk of, lion is not the one on top. But when you go to the animal kingdom, he sees himself to be the king, the senior man there. That is what I want all of us to ponder over. It doesn't matter the things you are lacking when it comes to the aesthetics that people will be looking, as in the structure, someone who can speak eloquently and all those stuffs. They are all traits that we can develop. We learn it. It is a gradual process. You won't just like automatically be able to do it just as it is. But we learn it gradually. It is process. So don't think that, oh, I don't qualify. As for me, I can't speak well. I can't stand in front of the church and speak. When we were all in first year, like, yes, you have to top up us. Like, that is how it is. You come and stand in front of the church, and people will be marking your grammar. Yes, it's part. Because you're having English students around, right? And right after everything, Ajoanima will call you, and she will tell you, Master, we need the M5. It's part of the learning process. So you won't get there before people will correct you. No. Once you are on the field, once you are doing the work, then gradually you'll be growing. That is how it is. So don't think that I want to be perfect. I want to get all the things that we can see in a leader before I'll join the leadership. If you are having that mindset, then at the end of this lesson, try your possible best to put it away. Now let's look at the character of a true leader. And this is the most important thing of the lesson. If you don't get anything today, try your possible best to keep note of these things. The three most important things in a leader. And I have termed it as the 3 P's. If you don't have this, don't think of becoming a leader because it won't work. You will fail at the end. You will never succeed. But although if you are not so much perfect of these things that we are coming to talk about, try your possible best to get there because it is very, very important in a leader. The 3 P's. The first one is about purity, prayer, and passion. Purity, prayer, and passion. If you don't have these 3 things, forget about leadership. Because whatever you do in the Lord's church, you will fail if you don't have these 3 things. But as we are going along, if you think you can work at some of the places, try your possible best to work on them. If you think that you are there, try your possible best to ponder over the conclusion words that we bring out. So the first one, purity, of which it is very, very important to me among all the 3. The key point among the key points. Purity. If you want to be a leader of the Lord's church, if you are aspiring to be a leader of the Lord's church, if you are a leader of the Lord's church, purity, holiness is one of the key things in leadership. If you are not holy, forget about leading because it won't work. God is expecting you as an individual to be the first person on the board when it comes to matters of salvation, when it comes to matters of you working on other people. So if you can't work on yourself, don't try of coming out to work out on people's life, because you yourself, you need a lot of work. Purity is one key thing that we can find it in Paul's lesson to leaders. So 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8, to be sorted. By the time you realize, now it's part of life. But when it comes to matters of salvation, when it comes to leadership, in terms of salvation, you should be the utmost priority. So if you are trying to work on other people, meanwhile you yourself, you know that if Jesus comes right now, I am not part, then you are making a big mistake. Acts chapter 20, verses number 28. When Paul went to Ephesus and he was living there, he met with the elders. And one instruction he gave them is that take heed to yourself, because it is very, very important. You are supposed to take heed, because Paul told Timothy, if you do that, you are going to save both yourself and your hearers. So if you make sure that everything is in line when it comes to your life, the people who are following you, they are also going to be in line. So you save both yourself and those who hear you. And Paul was so much particular about taking heed to yourself. So Acts chapter 20, verses number 28.
Therefore, take heed to yourselves and
therefore take heed to yourself
and to all the flock.
And to all the flock. So before you take care of the flock, first of all, take care of yourself. If you are aspiring to be a leader, then try to work on all your weakness when it comes to holiness. Sometimes we all say that we are not perfect, right? We are striving to get there. But as someone who is aspiring to be a leader, don't let that be your anthem. Oh, First John chapter 1, verse number 8-10. If we say we have not sinned and we make him a lie, and the truth is not in us. But if you confess, if you are aspiring to be a leader and you use this as your anthem, the devil will always give you room for you to sin. Because you know that, after sinning, I know that there is the grace, salvation grace of Jesus. But that shouldn't be your anthem. After John including himself, after John sympathizing with the sinner, sometimes we forget about the chapter 3, verse 9, because it was a continuation. He was trying to psych their mind to a particular doctrine. From the beginning statements, he was just drawing their attention, sympathizing with the sinners, that, we are all sinners. But when he got to chapter 3, verses number 9, he says, whoever has been born of God does not sin, cannot sin. It's a continuous statement. You are not supposed to stay in sin. You will sin although, but you are not supposed to stay in sin. You are not supposed to entangle yourself in sin. You will be asking for forgiveness of sin. You go, you come, you go, you come. If you are aspiring to be a leader, then try your possible best to overcome this. Because it will be like you are using a blade to cut yourself. You know that, at long last, you'll be healed. But because you are using a blade to cut and you'll be healed, you think that, I can cut myself. I can keep on cutting myself. That is how sin is. If you keep on cutting it, at the long run, you'll be healed although. But don't forget, there'll be a lot of marks on you. And it's very, very important in the life of a leader. So Acts chapter 6, verses number 3. When the need came that they wanted someone to take up the mantle, they wanted someone to take up the role of serving. They needed 7 people, and the qualifications they brought out. I don't want us to go so much deep into the aspect of an elder and then a deacon, because none of us qualifies, right? But we are looking at someone who is supposed to serve, a deacon, someone who is taking up this particular leadership role. So Acts chapter 6, verses number 3.
Therefore, brethren, seek out from among you 7 men of good reputation. 7 men of what? Good reputation. Good reputation. People should, I'm coming. People should speak good about you. Good reputation. You are not going to get everything 100%. It is a fact. And even Jesus Christ said it. Luke chapter 6, verse 20 says,
it is not going to be possible. And even if it becomes possible, then it means that you are even sinning. For you to be perfect, said that about 400 people in the church, everybody likes me. I know some people don't like me, and it's a fact, yes. And it's supposed to be so. It is even a curse to me. Because Jesus Christ said, woe to you. If everybody in a church, about 400 people, will be hey, even Jesus Christ himself, the Jews, the Pharisees, they didn't like him. It is a fact. So if you are thinking of being so perfect, not necessarily in holiness, but saying something that everybody will like, as for me, dear, I'll say this and everybody will like it. No, it shouldn't be the case. But you are still supposed to get good reputation. It doesn't overlook that. That maybe there are about 10 people in the room, and about 10 people, almost 9 of them are saying, then it means that there is something wrong. At least half or more than half people should say that, this guy is having good reputation. But it shouldn't be 100. That is who a leader is. Someone who is pure, purity. And it is something that we are all striving to get there. If, as we are talking about, maybe probably you won't get there, but it is a gradual process. But if you are having a determined mind of becoming a leader, then it's supposed to be a key thing in your life. The next one is about prayer. And I can't speak anything ignoring prayer, because prayer is very, very important. So prayer is not just merely actively doing your daily communication with God, but prayer is essential, very, very important in ministry. You cannot do anything and exclude prayer. If you are aspiring to be a leader, prayer should be part of your life. Like, it's supposed to be something that you'll be doing every day, constantly. Like, every day. Because that is how the Bible describes it. Always, continually. You are not supposed to cease. Like, it's something that in a day, you are supposed to take it more than 100, even if you are supposed to. Yes. Because you cannot do anything by your strength. Prayer is very, very important. So prayer keeps the leader dependent on God. It will always allows you to give God the room to help you to improve. Prayer is very, very important. So Proverbs chapter 3, verses number 5 to 6 tells us that indeed in everything, we are supposed to lay all our burden, everything unto God. James chapter 1, verse 5. If you need wisdom, if you need knowledge, understanding, anything that you need, if you want to be a successful leader, then you have to go to God. God is the first person you have to go always in your life. The next one is that prayer gives you wisdom to make proper decisions. If you are aspiring to be a leader, there will be a time where you make decisions in your life. It's part of leadership. You will be about 4 in a group. You'll be about 5, 6 in a group. You are not going to work alone. And without prayer, you cannot bring out a proper decision, a proper idea that will help the growth of the church. So prayer is very, very important. In Luke chapter 6, verses number 12 to 13, when Jesus Christ was about to select the disciples, he prayed about it because it was an important exercise that he was about to undertake. So if you are aspiring to be a leader, if you are a leader, if in future you want to be a leader, then prayer is supposed to be part of your key list. Prayer gives us strength and protection in difficult times. We cannot do this work alone. So if you are planning and thinking that, if I join the leadership, I can be able to work everything on my own, you cannot by ignoring prayer. Prayer is very, very important. And let's look at some of the descriptions, how the Bible termed the prayer that we are talking about. Philippians chapter 4, verses number 6. And those of us who have been going for devotion, we talked about it yesterday. That we shouldn't be anxious. In everything, you are supposed to go to God in prayer. Matthew chapter 24, verses number 41. Let's read.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 41. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and the other left.
Matthew 26, verse 41.
Matthew 26, verse 41. Watch and pray.
Watch and pray.
Lest into temptation. The spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak.
The spirit is indeed willing. You might have that willing spirit to lead the Lord's church. You might have that eagerness to work for God, but the flesh is weak. If you don't take care, the flesh might deny you along the way. Because there will be a time where waking up at 5 will be very difficult for you because you are a human being. I remember right after doing the lesson of why we do what we do. Right after that, someone who always wakes up at 4:30 and all that. Right after that, I'm sorry for our and always Binding will now come and then wake me up. At first I was the one waking Binding up. Now Binding is the one waking me up. That is the works of the devil. You have come and stand in front of the pulpit. You are telling people to, and I'll come to you. Yes. And I was feeling it. I really want to wake up, but Charlie and Fa, that is how it is. You cannot do everything on your own by ignoring prayer. It won't work. So prayer is very, very important. So take it morning, evening, like very, very important. The next one, which is the last point, is passion. Passion. Passion is something that you can gradually develop it. But as someone aspiring to be a leader, you are supposed to have the passion for the job, the passion of the work that you want to take. A true leader does not immediately fill up positions or roles. The leaders, some of them will be leaving very soon. So I'm spotting some of the roles there. So I want to be this part. No, I want to be... No, you are not just filling up roles that people will be leaving. So I just want to fill those places. No. As a leader, as someone aspiring to be a leader, as someone who will be a leader in the future, your focus is supposed to be on the passion you have for the work of God. You always want to glorify God. You always want to make sacrifices for God. That is supposed to be your mindset of you becoming a leader. So we all know of Joshua. Joshua chapter 24, verses number 15. When Moses left the scene, I'm coming. When Moses left the scene, we all know that Joshua was the one who replaced him. But the idea of Joshua wasn't like Moses is now going and then he's coming to fill up the space. No. But Joshua was having the idea, the mindset to serve, to work with God, regardless of all the things that will happen to him in his life, he and his household. That was the mindset of Joshua. So that should be your mindset. Not necessarily like people are leaving, so I have to fill up those spaces. No, that shouldn't be your mindset. The next one is a true leader is passionate even when the work is difficult. We are talking about the softness part of it. You are going to get blessings out of it. But when the time comes where things are very difficult, things are tight, you think about stopping, quitting the leadership. Maybe probably you are still in the leadership now, and people will still nominate you. We want you to continue with the work. You are planning to leave. It won't work. If only you are having that passion for serving God, working and making sure that everything is in place, then you still have to continue. Because it is very, very vital in a leader who really wants to serve God. And there are a lot of blessings attached to it. Paul went through a lot of hardship. Paul went through persecution. He went through a lot. But yet still, he encouraged the brethren to still remain in the faith, to still lead lost people, because there are lots of blessings attached to it. God is not going to leave you alone. So let us all take note of that. These are the 3 key points. Very, very important in the lives of a leader, in the lives of someone who wants to be a leader in the Lord's church. Very, very important. Purity, prayer, passion. Now let's move straight forward to the responsibilities of a leader in the Lord's church. The responsibilities of a leader in the Lord's church. And when I was preparing the notes, personally, I was laughing. And I was like, have I been able to reach there? Because I can't imagine. Like how Jesus Christ was able to exhibit his servanthood. One of the first key things of you becoming a leader, the responsibility that God is expecting you is to serve. Leadership is about servanthood. You are coming to serve the church. So don't think that I'm coming in to occupy a position. I'm coming to order respect. I'm coming to be the boss. No. That shouldn't be your idea. Because your responsibility of you becoming a leader is to serve. And Jesus Christ discussed this in several occasions. Psyching the minds of the disciples that leadership is not about you being the boss, you being the senior man among all the people. No. It's about you serving the people. So, Mark chapter 10, verses number 42 to 45.
But Jesus called them to himself and said to them, You know that those who are considered rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them.
So the worldly leadership is that I'm Lord, you are the Lord. Yes, senior man, you are coming and people bow. No. That is not the definition of who a leader is and then the work of who a leader is. Please continue.
And their great ones exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so among you.
It shall not be so among you, but what?
But whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant.
If you want to be great among the brethren, if you want to be someone who will lead brethren, help brethren, as we are trying to attain the aim, then you are supposed to serve. And Jesus Christ exhibited that. He tried showing them examples. And when I read this passage, I was like, this is too great. The example is too great. To that extent of, let's read John chapter 13, verses number 3 downwards. It's going to be a lengthy passage. Jesus Christ washed the feet of the disciples. And I was like, how? At that time, they were wearing sandals, right? So when you go out and you come in, you will see the dust And Jesus Christ removed his garment. He just immediately went down, cleaning all the feet of the disciples. Like how? Senior man, bossu, we all know you are a master, you are a Lord. How come you are cleaning our feet? How? Because at that time, the way they were seeing the rabbis, Jesus Christ was a teacher. So they upholded him to that highest esteem. But yet, he went down cleaning the feet of the disciples. Let's read that particular passage.
Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands.
The Father has given he's having all authority. But let's look at what he did.
And that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself.
Laid aside his garments. Wow. Continue.
After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel with which he was girded. Then he came to Simon Peter, and Peter said to him, Lord, are you washing my feet?
You all know Peter, controversial man. Are you just only washing my feet? Then bath me. Continue.
Jesus answered and said to him, what I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this. Peter said to him, you shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, if I do not wash you, you have no part with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head.
Senior man. Okay, continue.
Jesus said to him, he who is bad needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean, and you are clean, but not all of you. for he knew who would betray him. Therefore he said, "You are not all clean." So when he had washed their feet, taking his garment and sat down again, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, if I, then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example.
So Jesus is not literally talking about we washing people's feet, but he is serving to that esteem to show them that they are supposed to do what? Emmanuel, please continue.
For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you.
So you should do as I have done to you. That is what Jesus Christ is expecting in someone who attained that role of being a leader. You are supposed to serve. It is very, very important in a leader. The next one is that you are supposed to lead by example. Your life should reflect Christ, because people are watching you. People are following your footsteps. And with a rhetorical question I gave, if a blind person is leading blind people, about 1,000 people, they are all going to the same ditch. You are a blind person and you are leading blind people. People are following your footsteps. People are watching how you live your life. So you are an example to them. Whatever you are doing, people are watching. If you are aspiring to be a leader, take note that whatever you are doing, and for the book ne pen or trotro. If you are a leader now, take note that whatever you are doing, people are watching. They are writing it. So 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses number 12. Paul told Timothy about some key things that he is supposed to take note when it comes to he being a leader. Please read it for us.
Let no one despise your youth.
Let no one despise your youth. So you have become a leader. Make sure that you won't allow anybody to despise your youth.
But be an example to the believers in word.
Be an example to the believers in word.
In conduct.
If you are trying to be a leader, if you are aspiring to be a leader, then try your possible best to be an example to the brethren in word, how you speak. Although you have not become a leader, you are aspiring. Check how you speak. Because boys, although sometimes, I can't those words. But when you are indoor, some words I say those stuff. If you are aspiring to be a leader, desist from those things. Be a conduct to the believers in word. Because you say this, Grant even said this. Baini said this. They are going to use this as a yardstick. Although you might be thinking it's a normal thing. Be an example to them in word. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus say? Please continue.
In conduct.
In conduct. How you conduct yourself. How you do stuff when it comes to situations, issues. Asemba. The way I say you when you know. I say, if we are seeing now, people are watching. So, even when this situation happened, this leader even did this person even did this, and I'm looking up to this person. So I'm also going to do the same thing. You are giving room for people to do things that personally you didn't maybe reflect on. Please continue.
In love.
In love.
In spirit. In faith and in purity.
So, Paul was trying to psych Timothy's mind to the fact that once you become a leader, people will be watching you. People will be taking note of your life. So maybe you have not gotten to that point where you are now a leader. And you think people are not watching you. When the selection comes, that is where you see. They will be discussing, especially the ladies. They'll talk about it. Yes. This guy. Yes. Because people are taking notes. They are writing it down. And it is very, very important. People will be watching your life. And if you are a leader too, you have to take note of that as well. The last one is to promote unity. Once you become a leader, once you are aspiring to be a leader, make sure that wherever you find yourself, there is peace. Try to settle all your issues before you leave that scene. Because you don't know when it is going to escalate. We are all humans. And it is part of fact. When 5 people, 6 people, 7 people are in a group, definitely there will be conflict. But make sure you settle everything in peace as someone who is a leader. Make sure you won't be favorite. Like you are having your favoritism. As for this person, is my favorite person, so I'll go for him. No, you shouldn't be that if you are aspiring to be a leader or if you are a leader. You are always supposed to promote unity. Now, let me conclude with everything. And as we are bringing everything to an end, maybe you are leaving. I will be leaving soon. And some of the leaders too will be leaving because their time is up. Right? Maybe you are leaving. Don't just think that, oh, I'm leaving so that the work will be empty. Nobody will take up that particular role. Don't have that particular mindset. Make sure that as you are leaving, you make sure that everything is in place. Because we have talked about passion. If you have passion for the work, you make sure that everything is in order. So even if you are no more, you will still be at the background, making sure that everything is perfect. Because you have that desire to help God's work to be perfect. And maybe you are also coming to fill in. Have that mindset at the back of your mind that you are coming in to make sacrifices for God. Maybe you are already in. Have that mindset that you are in to make sacrifices for God. Because there are going to be times where you are going to sacrifice your energy for God, your time. Even it will get to the extent, your CWA, you have to sacrifice it for God. Yes, because you have that passion. There are a lot of people who made that sacrifices. So you should go to that extent. Don't think that, oh, I'm in first class, I'm in second class, I want to protect it, so I don't want to serve. No. If you have the mindset of helping God's work, then you have to take up that particular role when you are nominated by the church. It's very, very important. So, bringing everything to an end, we have stated the points. Purity, prayer, and passion. These are the 3 key points. If you do not hear anything, purity, prayer, passion. These are the 3 key things in a leader. And I would like all of us to ponder over these things. If everyone in the church now is thinking how you are thinking, what do you think will happen to the church now? Do you think the church will grow or the church will not grow? Currently, right after this particular lesson, just ponder over this. If everybody is thinking the way you are thinking right now, make it personal. Do you think the church will grow? If yes, why? If no, why? Think about it.